We covered yesterday the story of the CIA recruitment adverts and MI5 being unbelievably woke. And some people have not taken this well, and they've tried to deny that the CIA are on their side because it makes them look bad, which, I mean, yeah, it does. Likewise, the CIA making Wokist propaganda. We are the resistance. Not sure. And some of the Mickeys I've seen, so this is the Babylon Bee reporting here. CIA replaces waterboarding with 12-hour lectures on intersectional feminism. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't call it reporting. It's sort of Babylon Bee's prophecies.
Yeah.
Like, if they're already endorsing wokeism, why would they not bring this into the interrogation room?
Indeed.
I mean, if you're Al-Qaeda... Anyway, so... The original video that we showed someone who just like quoted it off, they're taking a clip of it on Twitter. But just so people can know, it's actually on the CIA's YouTube channel. The CIA has a YouTube channel, of all things. 240,000 views, doing well, I guess. 10,000 dislikes, not so well, I guess. But this is not like a one-time thing either. You can see here they call it Humans of the CIA, and this is like a running series they've got.
Weird phrasing.
Yeah, we are humans, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, we might torture and kidnap, but at least we're human. All right. Anyway, so they, I mean, this is one of the best things I've ever seen. This particular video, in case someone hasn't watched it, go and give it a watch, because you had some of the best stuff in there, like such bangers as "I'm an intersectional cisgendered millennial woman of color and I have a mental disorder." Like, okay,
right,
wonderful. Like, protect the USA with that, I guess. So there's the fact that they also posted it on Twitter, in case you don't believe me and you think the CIA YouTube channel is a spook or something. The CIA also has a Twitter account, which you can see the same clip from the advert here that links to the YouTube channel. I still find it weird that the intelligence agencies have social media accounts, but whatever. So there's loads of these. It's not just a one-off. So if we go to the next link, we can see here there's another video called Humans of CIA, and this one has a much lower number of views, but also equally a large number of dislikes.
What do these ladies do in the CIA?
So these are all just different recruitment videos. So they decided to do
Right.
like a series of videos called Humans of CIA for each different one.
Okay.
It's a different person celebrating wokeism or diversity and inclusion or some and such. And of course, she was the worst, the one with the 200,000 views. You know, I'm an intersectional woman of color, cisgendered millennial.
Yeah.
God. But some of the other stuff is also got flavors of that kind of language. And I want to play a small compilation of some of the stuff I found, just so you can, see some of the other things. So let's play this.
Then adding to that are the social challenges both women and people of color face, so it really just became a balancing act from there. I struggled to feel included, but I was lucky to have a senior analyst recognize others' sometimes exclusive behavior. And as an ally and genuine mentor, she encouraged me to pursue new opportunities, and every day I feel more empowered to speak up. There are people here who recognize that and are holding CIA as an institution accountable for the diversity and inclusion that it champions.
Growing up gay in a small southern town, I was lucky to have a wonderful and accepting family. I always struggled with the idea that I might not be able to discuss my personal life at work. Imagine my surprise when I was taking my oath at CIA and I noticed a rainbow on then-Director Brennan's lanyard. I remember being stunned. Inclusion is a core value here. Whatever their gender, gender identity, race, disability, or sexual orientation can bring their entire self to work every day.
So it's kind of mind-numbing, but of course there's the worst one. There's just the other parts.
Yeah.
Although you can see some of the language in there, like the term ally.
Yeah.
She uses, for
I
example.
did think that.
You can see it's intersectional terms.
It's the sorts of people you want fighting the Pablo Escobars of the world.
So totally prepared.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? I'm going to bore him to death. Like, okay. So this isn't even a surprise. Like, I don't know why anyone would doubt that this is the situation of United States upper echelons when you've had decades upon decades of indoctrination, and now these people, of course, have got jobs, and many of them have got jobs within intelligence agencies, in the military, so on and so forth. This particular tweet, just as a summation, there's a whole bunch of different woke stuff that's come out of different branches of the US military since Biden took office, but this one I think encapsulated just like the stupidity of it. I mean, so this guy, history was made on Friday with the first ever all-gay US Navy helicopter crew.
Wow.
What do you mean history is made? Like, there's some guys who are talented, they can operate a helicopter, and that's what's interesting about them, but now they're gay. That's what's super interesting. But also the absurdity, it's like the literal memes of Trump bombs you, it's a plane. Biden bombs you, it's a plane, but it's got Black Lives Matter and a rainbow flag. Like, they're literally in the helicopter with the rainbow flag. Like, yes, America and tolerance.
I'm sure the Taliban would be terrified.
I mean, it would be a good strategy for terrifying the Taliban, actually. It's like, you bring them in, you lock them down, we're going to interrogate you. I will never crack. Just bring in like 5 guys who start like dancing in front of him.
Could you make a martyr out of someone who was killed by that crew?
Oh man, I don't know, but I wanted to go on. So the response, as I said, is there are types in the left trying to neglect that this has anything to do with their movement because it looks bad that the left are now endorsed by the CIA. So this is a Vice article, Vice being a woke outlet. The CIA's woke ad is an absurd psyop. That's melting people's brains. It's a psyop. The CIA are playing 4D chess. They're trying to convince you that we like wokeism just to get in there or something. There's no reason to take the coup plotting agency at face value, but many commenters have done so just for that in the past week. It's like, well, what do you mean? Like, that's their recruitment ads putting at you, and there's not just one, there's loads of them. And as we've seen in Britain, this isn't even a surprise. Like the MI5, MI6, and GCHQ have also done the same thing. Internal documents show the same thing. The leaks we've had to the Lotus website that we put up from the the Ministry of Defense have had the same thing. There's no reason not to believe that it's the case that a bunch of people who have been indoctrinated at university, quite frankly, have then gone to in the workforce and have taken positions in the agency.
Yeah,
it's pretty simple line to draw there. Like it's not hard. But for some reason, the Vice have got to deny that they have anything to do with the CIA, or at least that ideology does. No, the CIA hate us, we swear. It's like, well, what happens when they endorse you? So he says in here, for a while now, the Central Intelligence Agency has been rolling out a rebrand to attract diverse operatives with roots in countries they've terrorized, with coups, rigged elections, death squads, and assassination plots. All of the things the Wokists would happily do to Americans en masse if they get their way. It's not clear whether this agent actually exists. Not a surprise given the agency's history, or is a creation of a marketing firm well versed in these sorts of campaigns. So I love how he's like, this agent's not even real. She's an actor. It's like, okay. Remember when Alex Jones used to say stuff like this?
Yeah.
Like, they're all actors. It's like, okay, well now Vice says it about the CIA. They're all just play actors or something. I mean, as I showed, there's not just one. There's a whole bunch of those videos. And they're all play acting as well, I guess. And I assume Vice will be banned from every social media for saying so. They continue. But it is clear that the narrative has been finely calibrated to distort the meaning of intersectionality to apply to any set of interlocking symbols. A nod to, quote, imposter syndrome here, a raised feminist fist icon there. The ad, it seems, was also finely calibrated to break the minds of everyone who gazed upon it. I mean, they're saying that the narrative has been finely calibrated to distort the meaning of intersectionality.
Right.
I don't think it's distorting it,
No,
I think
it's
it's
not.
propagating it. And can be applied to any set of interlocking symbols. Any set. Any set at all. There's no particular kinds of symbols.
That's the point of intersectionality.
But like the
Is it
idea
not?
that there's no symbols of intersectionality. The
Right.
raised feminist fist. No, come on. No, those are just spooks. Okay, well, let's go to the Google search it here. All these symbols, they're symbols of intersectionality now. Glad how that works. Just any set of symbols. I'm sure the CIA could have used these symbols. Some bold guy standing, there's a skinhead with these kind of symbols all over him. Just as valid as an intersectional agent.
Why not?
So, just going back to the article for a minute, there's one more quote. So he says that he takes a quote from Glenn Greenwald, who gives his opinion on this. He says, wokeness ultimately is neither really an ideology nor a politics. I'm sorry to say, Glenn Greenwald, because I quite like the guy. His tweets are usually on point. You're just wrong. You're just absolutely wrong. And Carl made a pretty good video about this called "What is Woke Culture," in which he takes quotes from Ash Sarkar defining what woke culture is after denying that woke culture exists, and then just takes her word for it. So she says in here that she wants, on a political level, redistributive goals, whether that's power, wealth, land, in order to pursue aims of social justice along class, gender, and race lines.
Doesn't sound familiar at all.
Socialism. It's just, okay, so take the class bit. Okay, if you wanted a political system which would redistribute land, power, and wealth on class lines, you got yourself socialism. And she defines woke culture as doing that on, as well as class lines, gender and race lines. So we're going to redistribute land, power, and wealth on race and gender lines. So, okay, so it's just race and gender socialism as well. So you got the class socialism, then you got the gender socialism, and the race socialism. Fantastic. I mean, that is what woke culture is. Thank you, Ash Sarkar, for defining it. And if Glenn Greenwald wants to know, you can go give the video a watch, which everyone should. It's a great video. And of course, this violates the liberal principles of any liberal society.
Of course.
I mean, fundamentally, the group identity should not be primary. It should be the individual identity. But also on the land and wealth part, you've got the point that well, of course, it should not be that the state comes and just takes your property. No, the state should protect your property rights if you're living in a liberal society, which is why the whole ideology, if it wasn't clear already, is completely antithetical to a liberal society and therefore repugnant. So he goes on, the author, to complain about Greenwald's argument that he thinks that wokeness is in the CIA. And he says, it conflates the left with wokeness, as if the CIA's development of this language should be taken at face value. Conflates the left with wokeness. What is the left?
Wow.
How could you define the left without socialism here? I mean, do you think socialism's a right-wing ideology? Like race socialism, that's what the right-wingers are arguing for.
I'd say it was. Why not?
The Black Panthers, well-known right-wingers. Anyway, so at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you say, it matters what you do. Every corporation and government agency can adopt the anti-racist rhetoric or inclusive language it wants, but who cares? Who cares? So they're just saying it. They're never going to actually do it. And it's like, well, that's BS and you know it. As we covered yesterday, just hop across the pond to see where this goes. And you can see that, for example, MI5, MI6, offering internships on the basis of your race. You had to be black to apply.
Yeah.
If you're white, you could not get the internship. And then when you go to the GCHQ, they had the same thing, in which it was, what was it, an IT and customer support role we showed in this episode. And they said that you could only apply if you have BAME skin. Brown skin people can get the job, but whites can't. I mean, if that's not a good enough reason to care, I don't know what is. I mean, open racial discrimination. And we're only there because our clock on this whole thing seems to tick faster, with the French ticking even faster, but the Americans just behind us. So, I mean, look forward to that. I mean, that's why you should care. So he goes on for the last line here, which I just found funny. What it says in public simply does not matter, and turning propaganda into a week-long discourse cycle helps no one. She's like, right, okay, so what that means is please don't point out that the CIA has endorsed our ideology. That is all this article is. It's just like, the CIA comes out and endorses the woke left, and he's like, crap.
Don't let people know the feds support us.
Yeah, we are just feds. like I used the term last week, woke in the dark. I quite like the term.
Woke in the dark.
And in case you think I'm talking S and this guy, I don't know, maybe he's a secret right-winger or something, just go to his Twitter account and just check out his bio. Yeah. Like a terrorist attacking an innocent family, some quote, blah, 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 he, him. He, him. Pronouns in the bio, every single time. It's something about it. So that's the left-wing response, which is to deny that this exists or is some kind of like 4D chess to try and undermine the woke movement or something, and not just that these people have been to university and then got a job, which seems more reasonable. Whatever. So then there's the right-wing response. And the right-wing response I find more based in reality. So this is Mike Pompeo here. When I was director of the CIA, we valued individuals based on their talent and skill, not their race or sexuality. Shock horror. I'll never forget one of those female analysts who said to me, "Thank you for valuing my work. I want my abilities and achievements to define me, not my sexuality."
Well, she's stuck in the past.
Get with the times, I guess. Just, what's wrong with that? Tell me what is wrong with that. I mean, this is literally MLK's dream, and the Republican Party and the Republicans here and the right in America are embodying that through and through, and the left are just like, no, we need to choose entirely people on race, and I just can't get over how they take themselves seriously in that world. But there's also Ted Cruz. So Ted Cruz had a good response to this as well, in which he saw the video. If you're a Chinese communist or an Iranian mullah or Kim Jong-un, would this scare you? To be honest, kind of yes. Because one of the interesting things, I have like a bit of an obsession with North Korea. One of the interesting things about their state ideology, when they're writing to the North Korean people in their newspapers and whatever, they try and big up the degeneracy of America and South Korea that's been infected by Yankee nonsense. Yeah. I'm just like, well, on this point, like, this is Yankee nonsense that nobody needs, so I mean, they're not wrong about that.
This is what your country could become.
Yeah. But one of the interesting things I saw Tucker Carlson's response being half joking, but of course that this is 4D chess. This is 4D chess. Actually, the CIA is on our side, guys. They got to recruit Wokists to infect Wokist movements and then bring them down from the inside. So let's play this.
So maybe the CIA actually does know this. Maybe they really have figured it out. Maybe the intersectional lady with the emotional problems is, in fact, a deep cover operative. Think about that. It makes sense, actually. When defeating ISIS was the goal, we recruited Arabic speakers. Why wouldn't we? Now that our own professional class is obviously the real threat, we need people who can blend in at McKinsey. In the Middle East and here, we need agents who understand the enemy, who speak his language, who understand his customs, who can break bread with tribal leaders in a yurt in the mountains, or for that matter, in Napa or on the Quad. For a mission like that, we are going to need a brand new kind of spy. The old kind will not do. Imagine this guy trying to infiltrate the queer dance collective at Brown.
Bond. James Bond.
Yeah, good luck, pal. Good luck on the Brown campus. Yes, those were cigarettes without filters, but not the right kind. That guy was smoking testosterone-enhancing tobacco. Think the enemy wouldn't notice that?
I love Tiger. He did a whole great segment on this, but that was the best part. And I really want to believe, Tiger, that it's 4D Chest and the CIA and MI5 and GCHQ really have our backs here. And they're trying to take down the greatest threat to Western civilization, which comes from within, which is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Which is just socialist activists. So, but no, I don't think it's true. And then the best example I have for this is probably some of the leaks we got, and I just want to demonstrate them again because they're so unbelievable. So this was, someone sent us this from the Royal Air Force, in which you can see here, this is an internal memo to all forces within the Royal Air Force. You must now use common pronouns, which include they, she, he, ze, per, them, her, him, her, per, their, her, his, her, and pers. You must learn all of these pronouns and then use them as appropriate at all times. And I love some of the language in here. It really sounds like something that would come out of like China or the Soviet Union. Personnel are reminded that their obligation to promote total inclusivity, and total inclusivity is non-negotiable. What does that even mean? Total inclusivity. I mean, if you want total inclusivity, okay, so inclusivity is you're accepting more things and therefore more tolerant, but total inclusivity, like absolute inclusivity, I mean, this is what the left promotes when they're like, no, we need to be more inclusive, more inclusive, more inclusive. What does that mean? Well, it means getting rid of exclusivity, in which case, where, as Cole points out, like, when you get to the end point of this, well, how do you say that pedos shouldn't be legal and part of society? Leftists?
Exactly.
If you've got total inclusivity, well, the pedophiles have an opinion, and therefore you need to be inclusive and tolerant and accept their sexual... No. There are standards. Get in the wood chipper.
Just get a flying pedo squadron in the Air Force. Right?
Like, is that where the Royal Air Force wants to go?
Yeah.
Of course not. In which case, start thinking, for Christ's sake. Like, total inclusivity or inclusivity for inclusivity's sake is not a virtue. It is entirely nonsense. And you need exclusivity. I mean, why do you have standards to join the Royal Air Force then? Why are you so exclusive? Why do you have fitness standards? Fat pride, you know? Of course not.
It was at one time the
God, really?
greatest flying force in the world, but yeah.
I thought you were going to say that there was at one time a standard that you had to be a certain level of fat or something.
Oh, they have to be below a certain height.
Yeah.
But
like, I know the RAF get bullied in the military,
Yeah, they
or
do.
every Air Force gets bullied because it's like you're not real fighters.
Yeah.
Go and sleep in your 5-star hotels.
Yeah.
But anyway, but yeah, that's why I find the leftist response so absurd, because it doesn't reflect reality. I mean, the leaks we get within the British military and the public stuff from the secret services is entirely woke. And it's like, well, okay, fine. That's.
I've written some similar articles on what Canada are doing with their armed forces.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really quite.
You see similar
strange
stuff in Australia, in New Zealand.
Yeah.
In which case, why would the Americans be immune from exactly the same thing?
Yeah.
Vice. Why would they? Why would they need a psyop to try and convince people that they're trying to undermine wokeness or something? It's utter nonsense, and they know it.
If you enjoyed this segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can watch the full broadcast live every weekday at 1 p.m. UK time on lotuseaters.com.